disciples, Rupa and Sanatana Goswami, who were in the government of the cruel Nawab Hussain Shah, were very alarmed because they thought, Nawab Hussain Shah, so far he's tolerated Sri Krishna Chaitanya. But, this could get very nasty indeed if he decides he can't tolerate such religious fervour amongst the Hindus, and he might decide to suppress it. So they came to visit Lord Chaitanya secretly at night, and they recommended him that it's not a good idea for you to go to Vrindavan now. It's too dangerous. If you do go, you should just take, one servant and just travel anonymously. So he turned around and went back, all the way to Jagannath Puri. But then a year or two later, he did make that journey, and he did it secretly, going cross-country through the jungle. The pervasive word for forest in India is jungle. Is that right, Prabhu?
Yes.
Which part of India are you from?
Mayapur.
You're Bengali?
Yeah.
I was thinking that when I heard you chanting the Bengali the other day. So he was going cross-country, which had its own dangers, of course. But he did eventually get to Vrindavan, and then on the way he met Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, and then he came back and he taught them. And from there, from those teachings to Rupa and Sanatana, essentially we get our whole theology has been passed down to us through those two. And he returned to Jagannath Puri. But the point is, the whole time he was in Jagannath Puri, he actually wanted to be in Vrindavan. And somebody painted a nice picture down in the temple room, which is hidden at the moment, of Lord Chaitanya standing at the back of the Jagannath temple, and he's looking at Jagannath. His mood was that he didn't want to go to the front. He wanted to stay at the back, and he stood next to, it's called the Garuda Stamba. Outside, I've not been inside, very few, I don't know if anyone here has been inside the Jagannath temple, perhaps you have, yeah. Outside the Jagannath temple is a large pillar with Garuda on that pillar, but I believe inside is another one, yeah, which is some distance from Jagannath, because the mood of Garuda, he's a humble servant, similar to the mood of Hanuman. He's there ready to carry out the orders of the Lord. So he's not up front, he's at the back, and he's kneeling in offering his humble service wherever he's called for. So Lord Chaitanya used to stand there next to the Garuda Stamba, and he used to gaze at Jagannath. And we're told very touchingly in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that when he looked at Jagannath, he saw him as Krishna playing the flute. And he saw him as inaccessible. Lord Chaitanya's at the back and Krishna's far away, and he wept. And they say that his tears collected in the sort of puddle on the floor. I've not seen it. Is there any sort of evidence of that now?
Yeah, there is a big pillar, and Lord Chaitanya used to, hug this big pillar, and his still the fingerprint is there.
The tears. Are we just speaking about tears?
There is nothing, but the fingerprint is there.
So something is written, I forget exactly, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that his tears collected at the base of this pillar. So it's a very touching scene. So that's the mood of Lord Chaitanya's relationship to Jagannath, that Jagannath was Krishna as we will see him today, later on. He's Krishna, the master of Dwarka, and he's accompanied Well, in Puri, he lives with Lakshmi. She must be in a separate part. I'm guessing there must be a separate shrine for Lakshmi there. He has his brother and sister with him, and Lakshmi is nearby. And its splendor, magnificence, the temple of Jagannath Puri is colossal, powerful and impressive. As Krishna in the later part of his pastimes on this earth, as he was. In childhood he was a cowherd boy, but in later life he lived as a splendid king with many queens and many palaces, and surrounded by royal retainers. And once, Srimad Bhagavatam tells us, they all went on a pilgrimage. The occasion was a solar eclipse. And so the dynasty of the Yadu dynasty, Krishna's family, his extended family, living in their great city of Dwarka, they decided we will go on a pilgrimage to Kurukshetra, which happened to be relatively near Vrindavan. Kurukshetra, I think, is north of Delhi, is that right? But they were coming from Dwarka, which is all the way on the extreme western side of India, in Gujarat. So it must have been a massive journey of 1,000 miles or so. And Kurukshetra now is maybe a couple of hundred miles from Vrindavan. So relatively, it was an opportunity to, anyway, we'll come to that. They were going to Kurukshetra. So there's a lovely description Prabhupada gives us in the Krishna book, which is, of course, is the 10th canto. All the members of the Yadu dynasty were naturally very beautiful. And yet on this occasion, when they appeared duly decorated with gold necklaces and flower garlands, dressed in valuable clothing and properly armed with their respective weapons, their natural beauty and personalities were 100 times enhanced. So this is the description of the procession making its way to Kurukshetra. And this is actually the Rath Yatra. That's what we're celebrating. The members of the Yadu dynasty came to Kurukshetra in their gorgeously decorated chariots, resembling the airplanes of the demigods, pulled by big horses that moved like the waves of the ocean. And some of them rode on sturdy, stalwart elephants that moved like clouds in the sky. Their wives were carried on beautiful palanquins by beautiful men whose features resembled those of the Vidyadharas, who are heavenly beings. The entire assembly looked as beautiful as an assembly of demigods of heaven. So here is Jagannath, Lord of the universe. And Rath Yatra, it is becoming here in London such a splendid occasion. I have a friend, an artist friend, the one who made the drawings for my Bhagavad Gita. And I showed him a video clip of, I think, last year's Rath Yatra. And the cameraman has positioned himself at Piccadilly Circus, and he must be up on the base of Eros. So he's raised up and his camera is trained looking along Piccadilly. The road is, completely blocked with large numbers of devotees who are very slowly coming towards the camera, and then they're coming round the foot of Piccadilly Circus, and there's Kirtan. And in the far distance you can make out, I think this is how Charlie sees, he'd never seen Rath Yatra.